This video will show you how to create a comparison diagram, one of the ways you might explore patterns in your data in NVivo. So to begin, I'll go to the Explore tab and then click Comparison Diagram. You'll see I could create comparisons to explore differences between files, or between nodes, or between cases. For any type of comparison diagram, I'll be comparing just two items. Let's look at two of our cases and see if we can find any interesting differences in how they've been coded. I'll begin by clicking Compare Cases. Now I'll click the plus sign next to Cases in order to see my folders for people and places. I'll select the People folder. If I expand my interview participants, I can choose Robert and Thomas. When I click OK, the comparison diagram appears and a new tab appears on the ribbon. By unticking all boxes apart from codes coding, I can more clearly see how my coding differs for these two cases. In the middle, I can see all the nodes where I've done coding for both Thomas and Robert. On the right, I can see nodes that appear to only apply to Thomas, and on the left, those that only apply to Robert. From a quick glance here, it appears that Thomas may have more positive attitudes, while Robert may have more concern about the environment. From here, we could easily click to explore any of these themes further. Suppose we'd like to take a deeper look at the coding to Thomas. Maybe I'd like to know more about the nodes we see here. Are some particularly significant? We could use a chart to visualize the coding of Thomas's interview. On the Explore tab this time, I'll choose Chart. I'm going to choose Coding and then click Next. We'd like to see the coding of this particular interview with Thomas, so I'll keep this setting, Coding for a File, and click Next. Now I'll click the Select button and hit the plus next to Files to head to my interviews, where I can then select Thomas. Now I'll click OK. The default setting for this chart will show me the 20 most coded nodes comparing by percentage. That is how much of Thomas's interview is coded at each of these nodes. This sounds like a good way to approach our question, so I'll click Finish. From here, I can see some interesting patterns I might have missed by just looking at the comparison diagram. For instance, coding at negative attitudes is almost as substantial as coding at positive attitudes, and it looks as if economic issues are particularly important to Thomas. Now that you've seen a couple of examples, experiment with some of the other options for comparison diagrams and charts. If you're working with your own data, you'll find that your own knowledge and curiosity about your data will lead you to particular options.